Hello there, everybody. It's me, Gerard Kidney, the co-host of You've Got to Be Kidding Me on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
And I am Liam Jones, my full name, and I'm also a part of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network as a co-host for You've Got to Be Kidding Me.
We are a TNA history podcast that covers TNA 1 month at a time. We cover all the drama, all the matches, all the Vince Russo nonsense you could ever want in your life.
Have you heard of TNA? I bet you have, but would it be funnier if two people made jokes over it the whole time? Probably.
So if that sounds like fun to you, check it out on this very Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network, and Liam will do bits and whatnot.
Hello everyone, my name is Taylor.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are the co-hosts of Jumping Bomb Audio, the podcast all about Joshi Pro Wrestling here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. Every other Monday, we are with you talking about the biggest news in Joshi, along with show reviews, previews, and much, much more.
So if you're new to Joshi or you've been a longtime fan, this is the show for you. We've got something for everyone here. So check us out, Jumping Bomb Audio.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Baby, kiss me like a love song. Sora no mukau ni. Whoa, whoa, kimi ga kata omoi. Namida no shitsure mo. Give me fire, give me that what I desire.
You're listening to the Emerald FlowShow on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 34 of the Emerald FlowShow. We're a podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. You can listen to us on all major podcasting apps, and we're on Twitter at Emerald FlowShow. And if you use Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. You can go to voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the show if you're feeling generous. I'm Gerard here with Paul Vosh. Paul, I guess there's a lot to talk about, but obviously the first thing to start off is WrestleMania weekend. What did you watch? Because I didn't watch anything.
I watched some stuff. I actually watched less than I thought I would, because all of the Circle 6 stuff was just for free on YouTube, and all of the GCW stuff on Fight Plus. Fight Plus actually had a free 7-day trial. So if you just signed up to that, like I did, you could just watch everything for free. So I thought I would watch a lot more than I actually did. So, yeah. But there also wasn't really all that much memorable stuff, to be quite honest. So to me, really the only thing I kind of want to talk about coming out of it is something Noah related. And that was the main event of the GCW's Bloodsport 9, or Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, whatever the name of the show actually is. And that was Josh Barnett versus Timothy Thatcher. And it was actually Josh Barnett's first loss ever in Bloodsport, because Thatcher beat him. And I think the match, overall, it was actually a pretty nice match. I don't think it's anything I would put on a match of the year list or anything like that. But they did some really nice grappling on the floor, and they had this really cool spot where I think Barnett had Thatcher in a knee bar, and then basically Thatcher just rolled both of them out of the ring because there were no ropes to because so that was really like his only way of like actually breaking it up, where he's just like, I'm just going to use my body weight to just catapult both of us out of the ring. And that was kind of cool. And then, Thatcher managed to like catch him and get him to submit for the victory. So, to me, I think that was like one of the nicest things of Mania weekend. Like, I've heard definitely like that there was other stuff as well that was really, really good. Work is kind of kicking my ass right now. We're like in proper peak time, so I just don't have time right now to like watch more than that. But from what I've seen, I've really, really liked that Thatcher versus Barnett match, and it's related to our show as well.
Oh, definitely. And I should reiterate, there's definitely people that are not the biggest Thatcher fans, to put it lightly, that I saw that quite enjoyed the match. So you should probably check it out.
Yeah, and actually one other thing that I actually found interesting is that someone like Ninja Mac wasn't there, because normally like that was always like prime time for him to just like get booked into like crazy spots everywhere. And even like other people that are currently like regularly working Japan were there for that, and he stayed in Japan because he was on these Noah shows.
Yeah. Now I don't know what the mechanics of the visas are, but like Marufuji and Nakajima have visas too, or did. So it's just sort of interesting that no one from Noah got booked either.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there was really all that much of note going on Noah as we're gonna cover soon. So
yeah, they could have made it.
Oh, actually, there's one more thing I actually forgot to put on the run sheet as well, because as we're talking about like people getting booked elsewhere, and that is something that happened today, and that is Shuji Kondo and Keno winning the Twin Gate championships at the Noah show, at the Dragon Gate show today.
Did you watch the match?
Yes, I did actually watch the match. It was a pretty good match. Again, not something I won't put like I didn't go 4 stars or anything like that on it, but it was a really fun match, and Keno won by knockout by knocking out Big Boss Shimizu. So that was a really cool finish. Like, I always like it when they actually use the Keno knockout finish. They actually teased that one twice, because basically he like knocks him down with a kick and the ref checks on him and he's like, no, he's still up. So like Shimizu just comes back up and Keno just immediately like roars back and just like knocks him out with a kick. So that was a really cool finish. And this is actually Shuji Kondo's first title win in Dragon Gate proper, which I found interesting. And then after the match, Keno cut a promo. So from what I've seen, because I couldn't really find a proper translation for it, from what I've seen, it seems like he challenged the Dragon Gate roster to come to Noah to challenge for the belts there, because they weren't going to defend it in Dragon Gate. So I assume something comes out of that, and also something related to All Japan as well. So he raised up both the Twin Gate belt as well as the 2 All Japan tag belts that he holds, and he threw those on the ground during his promo. I don't know what he said there, but I assume it probably wasn't something good for All Japan, but we'll see if a proper translation of that comes out, what he actually said there.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, because he did the same thing in All Japan, say like come to Noah to defend the titles and that sort of thing too. So this is sort of like, Keno doing his outsider tag team champion shtick everywhere.
Yeah, and then the only title he can't win is the Noah, is the GHC heavyweight tag titles, which is also funny. Yeah, but now he holds 2 titles in 2 different promotions with 2 different partners. So there's definitely going to be a lot on his plate going forward.
Yep. And next up, I think this matters to us, because I can only assume where these guys are going to end up, but we've got some more foreigners headed to Japan later this year.
Yeah, so we had some Twitter announcement from Rip Bison and Perry Von Vicious, who are a tag team that I think are mainly active in, I think, kind of the Northeast, from what I've seen. I haven't really watched them. I've heard from some people that watch more US indies than I do, because I've kind of fallen out of that in recent years, that these 2 are actually a pretty good tag team. And especially Rip is like a guy that has like a lot of respect from people. And a lot of people originally were kind of suspecting or kind of predicting that Rip signed with Noah because he, in his post, put a green heart in it. Mm-hmm. So it could be a possibility that points out that it's Noah. So Perry Von Vicious didn't do that. And since they're a tag team and the way they phrased their post seems very likely that they signed with the same promotion.
I would assume so.
Yeah. And they both said that they're going to start in early September. So to me, that would kind of somewhat rule out Noah, simply because that is just after the N1, which would be a weird time to bring someone in. Because, like, for example, like last year, they did the whole thing where they brought in Jack Morris, like, for the N1, and then you really, like, get the whole tournament to, like, establish a new guy. So to me, like, that would be then weird to, like, bring someone in, like, right after that tournament, when you could just use the tournament instead to establish them. So unless obviously they move the N1 to like later. I mean, All Japan would make a ton of sense because you bring them in like maybe early September to establish them before the tag league.
Well, I was just going to say that, like, here, Noah, just because they're bringing in lots of foreigners, these guys don't seem like the New Japan type, and New Japan has its own pipelines of foreign talent.
Yeah. Did I say New Japan?
No, but I'm just saying why we're crossing off New Japan.
Okay.
So All Japan, circumstantial evidence is they're setting them up to come in for Tag League because they're not coming until later, and you've got the Champion Carnival and everything now.
And
also,
they booked the Saitos while they were on.
Well, I was going to say
Rip
yes,
has its own promotion.
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Grind, and they booked the Saitos. Yeah.
But that also leads me to like the other one that I think might be the most likely one actually, and because the whole Saito excursion was organized by Tajiri very clearly.
Right.
So if he booked the Saitos, he very likely did it through Tajiri, which means that he has like a connection with Tajiri. And just looking through his likes, which obviously is like, again, I looked a bit through Rip Bice's like to see if he liked any like Japanese promotion stuff or anything, just to get like a hint. And I did see him like some stuff from Kyushu Pro, which obviously that's also highly circumstantial, but I think to me those three are like the most likely ones. Like to me it's either Noah, All Japan, or Kyushu.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think these guys are really like fit the great mold at all.
No,
like
but
just
who
from
knows
their looks. Like I haven't seen them wrestle, but they don't look like great guys. Let's put it that way.
Well, great seems to be bringing all sorts of different, interesting people into their promotion. So you never know. But yeah, I would say All Japan, Noah, or Kyushu. What about DDT even?
I mean, DDT definitely needs some freshening up on the roster.
But again, I feel like DDT
for that I would need to know how they wrestle. I would actually need to watch them if they actually fit in DDT.
Well, also DDT seems fixated on GCW and AEW.
Yeah.
So maybe
and these guys were more like wrestling in like the Beyond orbit.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. But yeah, it's interesting to bring it up because I think that they're probably going to end up somewhere where we cover. Yeah. I don't know. I just think with Kyushu is though, if you're going to Kyushu as a foreigner, you're probably going to want to just live in the dojo. Right? Whereas these guys feel like they would be better served by like going on tours like of a Noah or an All Japan.
Probably. I mean, I don't know how old they actually are. I think they're not super old, so I don't think it's like unreasonable for them to like be in the dojo a bit as well. But also, like, if you bring in like a full-on tag team, like I don't think you're gonna like turn them into dojo boys. Like you probably like give them like an actual push, regardless which promotion you're bringing them into.
Rip Bison is 29, but Perry Von Vicious is 38.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, they definitely need to do something with him then, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, that's really cool. Like, that's really cool for like a guy that evidently has been like grinding for like a long time now. to like actually get that opportunity to like go to Japan and everything.
I mean, I've never seen them, but by their look, they could absolutely slot in as a foreigner tag team in Japan in a company like All Japan, right?
That's the thing. That's why I'm that's why I'm thinking about they look like guys that fit in All Japan.
Yeah. So that's something to keep our eyes open. So we move on next to Pro Wrestling Noah. As Paul said, he's been busy with work. I've also been busy. So we sort of picked and chose from the last couple of shows, but they were smaller shows. So, I just mostly watched the stuff that I thought was relatively important. So we'll start with Sunny Voyage from Akita City, Celion Plaza in front of 246 fans. Paul, all I watched from this show was Manabu Soya versus Saxon Huxley and the main event. Did you watch anything from this show?
No, actually, I gave this show a complete skip because I just looked at it and I was like, I don't see anything here that really like interests me, basically.
Okay, so the reason I watched Soya versus Huxley is because I wanted to get a feeling on Huxley. Like, come on, like this, get rid of this guy. Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Yeah, he like especially also like the one thing that I like this fucking like cat weasel like looking motherfucker. Yeah, like it's also like they gave him this like generic tall white dude in Japan theme number 5 as well.
Really? Okay, yeah, that's true. But I think he's just not very good though, right?
No, he's terrible. He's absolutely terrible.
We have Gianni Valletta at home.
Yeah.
And lacking Valletta's charisma. Not that Valletta had a ton of charisma, but he had some.
He had some presence.
And I don't know, like.
Yeah, I don't know, Gerard, have you ever seen like old-timey, or not old-timey, but have you ever seen like the old like British wrestling of like the
World
70s
of Sport
and 80s?
I have,
World
yes.
of Sport. Have you ever seen Caviezel? Catweasel? I can never remember.
No, I mostly watch like the Johnny Saint and like Mark Rocco stuff.
Yeah, because Saxon Huxley looks exactly like Caviezel or Caviezel, whatever. And like I can't unsee it, but that guy was also like he wrestled like World of Sport style, so he did all of these like weird, elaborate counters.
Yeah,
and Saxon Huxley can't do that, so I'm like that makes it even worse for me. Where he's just this generic tall white dude with a beard.
Yeah, and so thumbs down on Huxley. I mean, he's like 35, 36, so your mileage may vary on how chances of him improving.
And now we know as well, we'll get to it later, but now we know as well that he's not the replacement for Timothy Thatcher either. So like that makes it even more like, I don't know.
He sticks out.
Maybe he's just here for like a quick run where he gets heated up, challenges for a title, loses, and then is never seen again. Like if that's the role they're going for, then I'm fine. But anything else, I'm like, no.
He sticks out like a sore thumb because the other see someone like Anthony Green who's like clearly improving and everything like that. So
yeah.
And then I watched the main event of Keno and Katsuhiko Nakajima versus Jake Lee and Anthony Green, and I actually thought this was quite good. Nakajima and Jake actually work pretty well together, so I am looking forward to that match. And actually, I also thought Green and Keno worked well together, so it's actually worth checking out. It's really probably the only match on the show worth checking out. Then we move on to the 25th at Morioka Gymnasium in front of 297 fans. I messed up and I forgot to watch anything at all from the show. Paul, did you see anything?
From this show? Yeah. From this show, I went and I watched the... Oh, wait, no. I think I actually... Oh, yes, I actually overlooked this show as well. Now I'm looking at the card. I actually thought we were talking about the next one in the Mutsumaeda Arena. But no, the Morioka one I actually also forgot about.
Yeah. Paul, your like sound totally changed.
Yeah, but that should be fine because basically I had to switch devices. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
that should be fine.
On the recording, it will still come through normally.
Okay, perfect. So we move on to the next day at Mutsumaeda Arena in front of 577. From this, I watched the GHC Junior Heavyweight title. Amaska defeated Lancelot in 14 minutes and 5 seconds with the Kaikoku. I mean, it wasn't bad. Lancelot botched a couple things, but they did a bunch of high flying. Like, I can't call it bad. I can't call it great. It was like 3.25. But I don't think you should make Lancelot like a top player in your junior division.
No, like this was just kind of there, like not really memorable. I mean, I do remember Lancelot's like his moonsault from the top turnbuckle to the outside because he got some really good height on that, and Amaxa's suicide dive as well. So like those were like the two things like those were really the only two things that I found memorable about this match. Like anything else. Like, I watched this today, and I'm already struggling to, like, even come up with anything to say about this match, just based on how unmemorable it was.
Yeah,
and then, the post-match challenge also didn't help as well.
Well, yes, and it was Hayata. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I hope everyone's ready for yet another 6-month Hayata reign, where he just does the exact same match every single time.
I feel like it's just way too early to cut this, but you never know. Even though Amaska beating Hayata would actually be quite good to establish that this is a very serious reign.
Yeah. But it's like he has also gotten like a fairly decent, I mean, not super long, but I mean, he's held it for like a couple of months now. Mm-hmm. So I think it's more likely than not that Hayata is beating him.
Okay, so we'll have to watch out for that. Hopefully not, because I don't want this reign to end. It's been pretty darn good. Next up, we have Jake in the main event, and the only other match I watched from the show. Jake Lee, Jack Morris, and Anthony Green defeated Kaito Kiyomiya, Hyo Dr. Wagner Jr., and Yoshiki Inamura in 21 minutes and 46 seconds when Morris used the Tiger Driver on Wagner. I thought this was really good. I thought Morris and Wagner worked really well together, and I'm really looking forward to their national title match.
I didn't watch this one. I only watched the title match, and then I watched a few more matches from the next show.
Yeah, I mean, this was like not a blowaway match, but it was, I would say, probably a little better than the junior title match. Just if you want to like get into like what the match was and everything like that.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It has been a consistent talking point for us that like how good these like Noah six-mans are.
Yeah, and you know, the GLG was pretty over in the crowd from the crowd here, actually. So
okay, I mean that's good because like I don't know, like I have things to say about the crowd for the next show, so the crowd was good here.
Yeah. And next up, Noah Sunny Voyage on the 27th at Hatchin Hohi U-Tree First Floor Multipurpose Hall in front of 269 fans. I watched Saxon Huxley versus Yoshiki Inamura because I hate my life.
Yep.
And
I watched that too.
And I can't believe what they're doing to Inamura. God, one thing to do to Yone or go to a double countout with Soya, but jeez. But I thought Inamura did as much as he could to get something out of Huxley, but when Huxley was on offense, it was just not good.
No, I mean there was some nice spots in this, but nothing that I was like, oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
Inamura sold it well, and then I mean, not just that he beats him, but then that he also like he doesn't even put him through the table; he just power bombs him again onto a table. Like, that was weird.
Yeah,
like I really didn't understand that one.
You know, I didn't watch any of the next two matches because of time, but I would have if I had a little more time. Did you watch any like the tag match with Ogawa and Wagner versus?
Yeah, I did watch the next match because I wanted to see if I could see, because basically Kaito Kiyomiya got a concussion according to Noah, yes. And I wanted to see if I could see like if that was like noticeable when it happened. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. Like the match itself was pretty good. I mean, there's three guys in there like Wagner, Ogawa, and Kiyomiya that are really good. Especially Kiyomiya and Ogawa like have this great chemistry. I really want to see more between the two of them. So like that was really fun. And yeah, I don't know. Like this Wagner just hit his finisher normally. Like it didn't really. again, like it can always happen on randomly in wrestling with a concussion and everything, and maybe it happened earlier and it only became noticeable then, like post-match or whatever, who knows. But yeah, Wagner hit his finisher and pinned Kiyomiya, and then basically like immediately the ref is like checking in on Kiyomiya and it's just like pushing Wagner away and everything, and then everyone is just kind of standing around awkwardly in the ring. I don't like. I know some people brought up if this is a work to basically stop Kiyomiya from going to Japan, but I don't know. That seems a little bit too elaborate.
Well, you mean going to the U.S. to accompany Muto as Yes, so it ended up being Inamura. It ended up being Inamura who had to push Muto around in his wheelchair and everything like that. You can see all the pictures. But again,
like that feels like Inamura was also always gonna go as well, because they did the whole angle with Huxley before this match, and that also feels like, oh yeah, Inamura's just gonna go to the US now for a bit. Like, yeah, because that seemed like a write-off as well, where he just gets powerbombed onto a table, and you have like reasonable explanation for why he isn't there. So yeah, I don't know, because he's not on the next show, right? Yeah, he's not. Like, so
also.
It's weird. It's weird. Like, I don't know if this Kaito thing is a work or not, because it's also like you had like 2 assistants come into the ring, but then Hayata is one of the ones that's helping him out of the ring as well. Which whenever there's like an actual worker involved and like an injury angle, that always sets off my alarm bells. I just don't get why they would do this. Like that. Like, it just seems way too complicated just to like be like, oh, we don't want Kaito to like accompany Muto to the US in case he might get hired. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I can definitely see it, because there's definitely some bells that went off for me when I saw Hayata being one of the ones that carries him out. But then I also don't really get why you would do this. Like, instead of just saying like, oh, he has sponsor obligations or whatever and he can't go anyway.
Yeah, definitely. But in case you're wondering, Muto did attend the WWE tryouts, in case you didn't think Kiyomiya was trying to get in there. I don't know. That set off my own alarm bells when I saw Muto watching the tryouts.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I my belief is still that Kaito would have just gone there to carry his bags because he's a bitch, but I don't know. Like, and my thing also always is like, oh yeah, like Muto is gonna help him to get into WWE, and I'm like, that's not how Muto operates. Like, why would he do that? Like, how does Keiji Muto benefit from doing that? That is always the most important thing you need to keep in mind whenever Keiji Muto does literally anything. How does he directly benefit from this? He doesn't benefit from Kaito Kiyomiya signing with WWE. Yeah, but he's like his agent.
He can brag that he got a talent for WWE.
Yeah. I mean, what I was actually suspecting, maybe he was there to like try and see if he can like worm his way into like running NXT Japan, but then NXT Japan got killed like a couple of days later when they got bought by Endeavor, because even if those plans weren't dead yet completely, they're completely dead now, because Endeavor is not going to sign off on that.
Absolutely not. And technically, isn't it a merging with UFC, not a purchase?
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're merging. So basically what's happening with WWE is that Endeavor, basically they will create this new company, and Endeavor shareholders will hold... So UFC is a subsidiary of Endeavor, and Endeavor is merging the UFC subsidiary with WWE. And the new shareholder structure will be that Endeavor shareholders will hold 51%, and WWE shareholders will hold 49% in the company. And yeah, basically WWE and UFC are merging into a completely new publicly listed company, but that also completely kind of changes. Like, WWE basically can't just do whatever the fuck they want now anymore. Like, they need to ask Endeavor if they want to do that. And like stuff like NXT Europe and NXT Japan doesn't really seem like something that Endeavor probably has any interest in doing.
Well, good for us. And also thank you for that description, because a lot of people seem to just think it's Endeavor buying WWE.
No. It is a merger, because if they were buying them, so actually, okay, and now I'm getting way too nerdy on now I'm kind of touching on like my actual real work stuff. So basically, if you looked at like the stock movements for both of them, Endeavor shares went slightly up and WWE shares went slightly down, because a lot of people probably, when like rumors of a sale went around, probably like bought in, expecting kind of a nice handy payout. Whereas now they're not getting a direct payout, they're just getting shares in the new company, which still good if you're like a long-term investor, like a pension fund or something, where you just want the dividends or whatever. Like, that's still fine for you. But if you just came in there because you wanted like the nice big payout by the Saudis, who were just gonna like pay you for like taking the company private, that's not happening.
$10 billion to take it private.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're paying like an insane amount per share, and like you can cash out like on a really nice like payout. Whereas you can't really do that here, because you just get new shares that are traded on a stock exchange. So if you cash out and loads of other people cash out, the stock price collapses and you're not going to get as much. So you kind of need to either stay in or find the right time to like get out, basically. So a lot of people already got out when it got announced. And yeah, so that's basically the situation there.
And yeah, we didn't. Well, thank you, Paul. And we don't have to worry about any more foreign NXTs either. So we'll never have to talk about that again, probably.
Hopefully. What was talking like 6 months about, like, I don't know, Kyushu Pro got bought by.
I mean, if we want to talk about more WWE related stuff, given how Endeavor treats their talent, we might have to be watching Jiro very soon again on our television screens.
Yeah. I mean, given that some other people might be leaving, and Noah seems to have some interest in like starting a women's division, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the people that might be leaving from like the women's division in WWE might pop up in Noah. Like, I think if an Asuka leaves, I think she's like, if I'm Noah and I want to start a women's division, like that's someone I'm bringing in immediately. Like Kana, well, if I can build my division around Kana, absolutely, I'll do that.
Presumably, you would get
style-wise.
Presumably, you would get into a bidding war with Bushiroad over any of these women, right?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. So you need to like outbid Stardom, but like if you're actually serious about it, then you actually need to like put some money behind it as well.
You have to get a big name.
Yeah.
And then we have Naomichi. Okay, did you watch Naomichi Marufuji versus Yasutaka Yano? Because I wish I did, but I didn't.
I watched like bits of it, but I didn't watch the full match essentially. But what I found interesting was Yano's new gear, which is very heavily Harada inspired.
Interesting. Yeah, so that went 16-19, but Marufuji won, of course. But I think that might be a sign that Yano's going to begin to get a push in the junior division.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the new gear and everything.
Mm-hmm. And then in the main event, Captain's Fall match, Jake Lee, Jack Morris, Anthony Green, Yohei, and Tadasuke, the good-looking guys, defeated Keno, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Manabu Soya, Hajime Ohara, Hiroki in 1915 when Jake used his skewered front high kick on Hiroki. Yeah, this was pretty good. I think I like that just straight 2 versus 2 tag between Congo and the good-looking guys on the show before, but it was a perfectly fine main event, and I guess it's kind of nice to see them bringing back the Captain's Falls matches into Noah.
Yeah, well, I thought this was pretty good as well. Just a nice back and forth. What I found really striking, though, was just the size difference between Jake Lee and Nakajima.
Yes, like but I do think they work well together. Christ.
Yeah. No, they do. But like when Nakajima had him in like basically was like, I think he was trying to do like a German suplex or something like that, and there was a lot of Jake left above Nakajima's head. Let's put it that way. So that was very noticeable. So I'm really curious on how their match is going to go.
Yes, and people wonder why Shotaro Ashino had such a hard time getting pushed in All Japan.
No, we'll get to that.
So that's Noah. Well, no, actually, we have a few things on the Zebio Arena Sendai show on the 16th. Wild and Free. We're talking about the women's division. Maya Yukihi versus Natsu Sumari. This one's called the Lollapalooza Fiesta. Drolistico, Dragonbane, and Alejandro versus Extreme Tiger, Alpha Wolf, and Lancelot. So Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf have been welcomed back to Noah. Wasn't sure about that, but I'm
Noah booking Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf in a match that doesn't involve that doesn't involve the other one. Difficulty impossible, apparently.
Yeah, or any Japanese or only one Japanese wrestler either.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. It's probably going to be fun, but I'm also, like I said, I'm just like anytime I see like Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf just in a match together, I'm just like, just book them in a match where they're not together. Like for once, I just want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Drolistico doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Either, so.
Neither does Lancelot. And Extreme Tiger.
No. I think Extreme Tiger's are perfectly fine for his position. Like, he's just a, Whereas Drolistico and Lancelot, they're actually trying to do stuff with.
Yeah. I mean, at least Alejandro's going to be fun.
Yeah. And for the GHC Tag Team title, subtitled Volcanic Explosion, Masa Kitami and Deki and Abe versus Takashi Sugera and Shuhei Taniguchi. I think that will be great, and it'll probably continue the very underrated hot streak of GHC heavyweight tag team title matches.
Mm-hmm. So do you think Masa and Inaba are retaining, or are they putting it back on Sugera, but with a new tag partner?
No, I think that's what Taniguchi's here for.
Yeah, he's here to take the fall.
Yeah, they just keep running with this.
Yeah. I think like Kitamiya and Inaba, I think they're actually hot. So I think it's actually I think actually cutting off their legs right now, like, I think would be a bad idea. So I think you just see how far you can get this, like, take this tag team reign, and you can always like put together like another like super team or whatever, and then they can take the belts off of them at some point.
Yeah, and then for the GHC national title, subtitle, Sky's the Limit. El Quijote Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Sublime Every Time Jack Morris of the Good Looking Guys. I called him all by his possible nicknames and factions, but I'm actually really looking forward to this.
Yeah. I'm also very certain that Jack is winning here.
I'm pretty confident Jack is winning too. They seem all in on GLG, and that's why I think they're going to win. Morris is going to win.
And also, like, Wagner also feels like his reign was really good. Like, I think he feels like a guy that was elevated. Like, I think you can actually, like, even if he loses the belt here, you can actually do a thing where you, like, heat him up immediately and give him a GHC title shot against Jake.
Yes. You could do that. Or you could put him into what about putting him in well, I guess Thatcher's coming back, so...
Yeah.
I was going to say like something like a tag team with Hideki or something.
That would be fun too, yeah. He is technically, he is a member of Seguragan, isn't he? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe he hasn't teamed with them in a while. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I think that would be a good idea. But like, I think there's definitely things he can do with him now. Like last year, he was very clearly just like a tag guy, but I think like there's actually like even more things he can do with him now, and he can actually like he's like a believable like upper mid card to like main event guy now, which I definitely didn't expect before he won this title. So like this has just worked out perfectly, but I also feel like this is like the right time to take it off of him and give it to Jack and see what Jack can do with the belt as well.
Absolutely. So that's something to watch, and of course the main event is also subtitled "The Lunatic Gate." Open the Lunatic Gate.
So who is the lunatic in this case?
I think it's supposed to be Jake, but I mean, isn't, with that smile or that grin, there's Nakajima also supposed to be a bit of a lunatic?
Who's also knocked out multiple people.
Also, yes. And he might have a hard time knocking out Jake because I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was about to say, he needs to kick really high to knock out Jake.
But
that's not an accident at that point.
I mean, I have a good feeling about this match from a match quality standpoint. I think it'll be good, and I think Jake retains.
Yeah. I don't think there's really Nakajima doesn't feel hot enough to take the belt, And you'll just see, like, I would definitely be worried with the Yokohama attendance on how Jake draws as a champion. So, but I think you give him a few more chances and see how things develop, and then you can always, like, put the belt on someone else if it doesn't work.
Okay, we should preface this by saying we heard from like someone in the Voice of Wrestling Discord who went to the show that all the tickets were sold were in the upper deck, or you know.
And he did actually, or they did actually provide like photographic evidence of as well, that where you could see that people are sitting in the upper deck. So,
but Paul, as you said, that's still not good because no one's buying the premium tickets.
Exactly, which is how you make most of the money at the show.
Yeah.
So you don't want people to sit in the upper decks. Well, you do want them to sit there if you're selling the whole thing out. Then that's
but
great.
Because you've already sold the other tickets first.
Exactly. Like basically those are for like people walking up day of the show. That's what they're intended for. Not for people like, basically they completely price the tickets wrong. Like whatever they've done here, like they need to like revise their pricing. But, you know, I mean, at that point, maybe it's a little bit less of the wrestler's fault. Like it's kind of more of a corporate failure, really. Because that's not on the wrestlers if people just like put the wrong price on the tickets.
Yeah, definitely. So.
And also, wasn't there like one more match? Because we knew that Thatcher was coming back, right? Like, didn't he have a match? Didn't he have like a match with him, Hideki, and Huxley against some team?
Let me check. That might be very possible. Yeah. Well, we knew, because we knew he was coming back.
Yeah.
And,
but I don't remember who they were teaming against. Oh, I think it might have actually been Inamura. I think it wasn't it Inamura and the Funky Express?
Well, okay, so I'm looking here on the show on the 16th. Mm-hmm. It's Hideki, Timothy Thatcher, and Saxon Huxley versus Inamura, Kinya Okada. And I totally forgot this guy was coming in. Sean Legacy.
Oh, yeah, Sean Legacy.
I've never seen Sean Legacy.
He has a good look.
He does have a good look. He's listed at 180 centimeters and 94 kilograms, which is a heavyweight in Noah, I guess. In New Japan, they might start him as a junior.
Yeah. But I mean, he has a really good, like, I don't know. Ever since like Jack Morris, I'm like a lot more willing to give these guys a chance if I don't know them. So.
Well, yeah, because we knew Saxon Huxley was going to be bad.
Yes, exactly. People have seen Saxon Huxley before, and the people that do know Legacy have said that he is actually pretty good.
Yeah. So. And Legacy has, he's got that kind of look, I think, that they're looking for.
Yeah.
It would not I wonder if they shuffle him into good-looking guys, too.
He would fit right in, yeah. And that way you kind of keep like that way you keep like you make it like a 6-people faction as well, and you have like 3 foreigners and 3 Japanese people, so.
Yeah, for sure. And you can break off like and have all the foreigners just do 6-man tags and stuff as a team and everything like that. So I do actually think that this match this show on the 16th in Sendai will actually be pretty good.
No, I do like the card. Yeah, I'm not super excited about that Lucha 6-man, but I mean that also has the potential to just like actually just be a crazy spot fest. And then I kind of like the rest of it. Like, I think Maya versus Natsu, I think that could actually be... It depends how the crowd reacts to that one.
Well, I mean... I hate to say it. I think I said it before, but Natsu has a ceiling.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's definitely something new on the card. Like that. But I think the tag title match is going to rule. Like, I feel very confident saying that that's probably a 4-star match.
I have another match here that I forgot that has been recently announced. It is Naomichi Marufuji, Kaito Kiyomiya, the returning Ninja Mac, Atsushi Kotoge, and Seki Yoshioka versus Keno, Shuji Kondo, Hajime Ohara, and Hiroki, and a surprise fifth member who's not in Congo, but a fifth member of the team.
Ooh.
Paul, this is in Sendai. Any ideas who could that be?
Well, it's obviously Kojima.
Oh, no, it's Jinsei Shinzaki.
Oh, God damn it. Okay, I mean, seems like Noah is throwing their head into the ring for like the Fujita Hayato Junior sweepstakes by bringing in Shinzaki, trying to maybe massage in that way. Because they actually, on the Dragon Gate show today, they actually had Hayato on that one. And Mochizuki said that he was going to come into like Michinoku Pro and challenge him for the belt and everything. So I think there's probably like low-key a bit of a bidding war going on for that guy. Because I remember like him and Keno like shot an angle as well recently.
Yeah. So that's something to watch out for. So we move on to All Japan Pro Wrestling. First, we have to say congratulations to Hokuto Omori for finishing his probation. He can drink alcohol again.
Cheers to that.
And then, okay, so I will start really quickly off. Evolution had their first show on March 31st. I almost forgot, but it didn't air anywhere. And they're not airing on AJPW TV. Someone asked a question of that, and then there was a response from Evolution Twitter account saying no. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I think you got to get your shows televised, folks.
Yeah, that's stupid. Like you already have the infrastructure right there. Like just take the same cameras you use for All Japan TV. Just put it on there. You have like a bit of additional content.
Shinkiba's a single cam.
Yeah.
Shinkiba's usually a single cam show anyway. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, you don't even need to bring your own camera. Like I'm pretty sure they just have like a camera at Shinkiba that everyone just uses.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I think what it is there's a hard cam, but All Japan brings in another camera when they brawl on the floor and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
But they drew 278, which they sold out, which I think is a good sign. Even though the show
especially because they kept
matches.
it to just the three
matches. And Black Mensa Ray was the referee.
Yeah, that was a weird look from the photos that I saw.
Suwama,
the mask on and everything.
I have to say, Suwama really does keep kayfabe because he's nowhere to be seen these days around Evolution. It's just all Shuji.
Yeah.
Anyway, the results were Miyuki Takase defeated Sunny in 11 minutes and 56 seconds with a second rope guillotine drop. Rina Yamashita defeated my favorite, Zones, in 12 minutes and 19 seconds with a lariat. And you beat Chi-Chi in 10 minutes and 45 seconds with the Bear Bears. And they're going to have another show at the beginning of May in Shinkiba. So hopefully they televise that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But, I mean, they got a lot of media. Well, I mean, you know, they got media coverage from the main people that, you know, do your wrestling, like your Tokyo Sports and Yahoo Sports and that sort of thing like that. So there's something there. But they got to get some airing, even if it's on. I don't love doing Nico, but at least it's accessible.
Yeah, it's something like twit casting or whatever. Like something, like literally anything. But obviously to me, like just put it on All Japan.tv. Like maybe you get some new subscribers, like the subscribers that you already have. Like they get a little bit more content. It doesn't really actually cost you anything extra.
Speaking of All Japan Pro Wrestling TV, Paul, they have a special on for April. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
All the shows of the Champion Carnival in April. All the shows of the Champion Carnival in April are going to be free, including you're going to get a Kento Miyahara versus Yuma Aoyagi match and a Kento Miyahara versus Satoshi Kojima match.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say,
is really great. Yeah.
I also have to say it's pretty savvy because if you want to see the last block night in the finals, you have to pay in May.
Yeah. No. But I think this is a really great idea. Like just like you have some momentum right now, you're a bit hot, so you like try and like take your best tournament. You have like some draws in there, like you have like Kojima in there, like a guy that gets you some mainstream like publicity. You were just on the big dome show for the Muto retirement, so I think this is a really good idea by them to make it free for the month. And like all of the shows are live as well. No VOD shows.
Oh yes, no VOD shows this year, so they will go up pretty much right away after they're done. You don't have to wait like a day or anything like that. And they're clearly like targeting like foreigners to, get in on this too.
Yeah. No, I think this is really smart. Like, if somehow you're someone that is listening to this and isn't subscribed to All Japan.
Well, I think there's people that listen to this that once did subscribe to All Japan TV that might not anymore. But I will say, if you're signing up again, this free month is for new memberships. So use a new email if you've previously been, but not currently part of alljapan.tv.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure that you can actually take advantage of the free month and, stay subscribed beyond it. Then you can actually follow along while we review the shows. Or you can watch the matches that we recommend.
Exactly. So there was only one show that happened while we were gone. It was on the 26th of March in Shinkiba First Rate in front of 240 fans, part of the Dream Power Series. Without going through the whole show, I will just say that the two junior tag Battle of Glory skirmishes that were both singles matches, Kotaro Suzuki versus Rising Hado, was pretty good, but especially Kaito Ishida versus Ryo Inoue was excellent.
Yeah. No, that was really nice. Like, I loved that one. That one was just Ishida just beating the absolute piss out of Inoue for a little 11 minutes. No, I loved that. And also, like, the kicks between the two of them. Just
Ishida sold
nasty,
for those kicks, and everything like that. And then
also Ishida has match like really good presence now as well. Like, I think it really helped him that he's like won the title as well. Like, I think that actually gives him like a whole new like he pops more now. Like, he was a guy that was really good before, but I think he's like different now.
Well, did you watch Kazuma versus Ishida? From Great?
No, I actually haven't watched that one.
You really have to watch that. It's incredible.
Okay, yeah, then I'm gonna... It's on YouTube, right?
Quite possibly Kazuma's best singles match.
Okay. I mean, I'm actually someone that really likes Kazuma. Like, I really love this Run Dragon Gate. And
I like Kazuma too, and I think he has definitely improved from what he was years ago. But, like, this was a really great match.
Okay, yeah, then I'm definitely gonna look that one up.
And then we had Atsuki and Aoyagi and Yuma Anzai going to a 20-minute draw with Naruki Doi and Hokuto Omori, which was another really good match, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Anzai is so over with the Shinkiba crowd. It's nuts.
Yeah. And then...
they like, when he hit the jumbo knee, like, that crowd just came completely unglued. And it also becomes, like, very clear that that's, like, the mold that they're using for him is Jumbo Tsuruda.
Absolutely. And a little Suwama, maybe, I guess.
And a little Suwama. So, okay, I mean, there's loads of people now that use the backdrop hold as a finisher, but, like, for using Jumbo Tsuruda, like, kind of have to give him the backdrop, right?
Probably. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's also, like, athletic enough that he could probably do something even more spectacular if he wanted to.
True. I mean, he definitely has to move on from the German because, I mean, that's Kento's move.
Yeah. I don't know. It could very well just end up being a backdrop.
Yeah. But I do find it interesting that actually having like a young boy that is so protected like him actually makes it really interesting because the matches are actually like... Because I was actually really not sure what the outcome here was going to be. And obviously they went to a time limit draw. But I just looked at it and I was like, well, don't think they're going to draw out Atsuki here. And they're definitely not going to drop out Doi. He's the champion. And Hokuto is also in the Champion Carnival, so you can't really drop out him. So theoretically Anzai, but then Anzai's been super protected. And turns out they're just going to go to a 20-minute draw.
No, but I think that was fine for this.
Yeah. No, it is perfectly fine. But again, just think about that. If you would ever say that about like another like guy that is like 6 months in, where it's like, we need to protect everyone in this match, including the guy that debuted 6 months ago. So let's go to a 20-minute draw.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not. And then we had Yuji Nagata, Hikaru Sato, Dan Tammer, and Ray Paloma. First time in All Japan in a while. I saw that Ray was very excited to team with Yuji Nagata, actually.
And the return of Evolution Associate member Ray Paloma.
Yes. And they defeated...
Because they actually made him an associate member like years ago.
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, because he was around a lot more in All Japan, popping up than he is these days. They defeated Gungnir of Anarchy, Shotaro Shino, Ryuki Honda, Yusuke Kodama, and Masao Hanabatake in 13 minutes and 41 seconds when Nagata pinned Hanabatake with the backdrop holds. Yeah, it was solid. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fine. Like this one wasn't really anything special. But I mean, at least now we know that Kodama isn't out of All Japan.
Yeah. And then in the main event, Voodoo Murder, Suwama, Jun Saito, and Rei Saito defeated Kento Miyahara, Tsuji Ishikawa, and Yuma Aoyagi in 23 minutes and 32 seconds with a backdrop hold from Suwama on Ishikawa. I actually did enjoy this match, and Paul, I'm going to say it. The Saitos are improving.
Gonna keep saying that for they're gonna turn into the Miz where they just keep improving for like the next 10 years.
Oh, come on now. Let's not compare them to the Miz.
Now I'm just imagining the Saitos coming out doing like the twirl on the ramp and doing the point.
Or like being the Miz's muscle.
I mean, that actually would be kind of... Here's the thing. So what this will absolutely never happen. What if like Endeavor's like, why are we paying this dude so much money? Let's fire the Miz, and he comes into All Japan and the Saitos actually do become his muscle.
It would be funny. Yeah, because if the Miz somehow ended up in Japan, he would probably be in a unit and have muscle.
Yes. So, but I do agree that the Saitos like are improving. Slowly but surely. But like this is actually like them being in Champion Carnival and having loads of singles matches is actually going to be a big test for them because they haven't really done that at all in their career so far.
No. And Suwama pinning Ishikawa was interesting, although, I mean, so we'll see how that goes into the Carnival. But before we get to the Carnival... It
definitely bodes well for Yuma, I want to say.
Yes, I think so. Before we get to the Carnival, Junior Tag Battle of Glory, which will be happening from the Carnival, but it ends on May 4th in Korakuen. The finals are not on May 7th in Oda Ward. So we've got Ryo Inoue and Oji Shiba, Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato, Atsuki Aoyagi and Rising Hayato, Naruki Doi and Naoki Tanizaki, and Kotaro Suzuki and Kaido Ishida. Not a large field, but that's all killer, no filler. Like, there's not a bad or really weak link in the chain here.
No, not at all. Like, if I'm looking at that, I'm actually need to, like, pick who's, like, the weakest worker here. It's, I don't know, Shiba, maybe? Dan? Like, but again... Like, it's all incredibly close. Like, Atsuki and Doi and, like...
Yeah, you could make a case for Dan,
Suzuki, but... Like, they're standouts here, but...
But Dan continues to improve, so...
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's not gonna... Like, there's very unlikely to be, like, a bad match in this tournament if they're given time.
There's no questionable things like in the Champion Carnival.
Yes. No, there's no questionable matchups here. And if they're given time, like, all of these matches have a potential to be really, really good.
And it's a 20-minute time limit. Which I think is going to play into it. And it kind of has to when you have this many teams. When you're dealing...
Yeah, and you have like some champions in there as well.
When you have a small field, you're going to have to do draws. Yeah. But let's just fast forward to April 30th, the last block day of the tournament. That's in Osaka at Edion number 2. And the two matches there are Atsuki Aoyagi and Rising Hayato versus... Kaido Ishida and Kotaro Suzuki, and then Hikaru Sato and Dan Tamura versus Naruki Doi and Naoki Tanizaki. Paul, do you think that there are outsiders in the finals?
I could see the Ishida and Suzuki team go to the finals.
Yeah, because I felt like the way that they set up at Oda Ward and they had those two singles matches that we were going to get a Aoyagi and Hayato versus Sato and Tamura finals. Plus, Sato and Tamura are the two-time defending junior, or maybe one time. Or did they win it twice in a row? They did. Because there was that one year that Sato put it on. And it aired on pay-per-view on like Nico and I never saw it.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
And then they won the other one that in 2021.
To be honest, I have like almost zero memories of the 2021 tournament, not gonna lie.
It was in Shinkiba again, but it aired on AJPW TV.
Yeah, but I think that this one has a really good potential to be like, yeah. Because I think actually not even just that, but I think Sato has actually won this one like a few times in a row now as well, right? Oh, no, okay. Yeah, it was, because then before that it was him and Yusuke Okada in 2019.
Yeah.
And you need to go back all the way to like 2018 when he didn't win, when it was won by Iwamoto and Tajiri.
Right. So, yeah, I think then they're playing into that. So I think Tamara and Sato were in the finals.
Yes, yeah, I think that's pretty likely as well, because then you can also get like a Dan title challenge out of that as well, if he pins Doi on the final night.
Yep. Which then brings the question is, but I feel like just Aoyagi and Hayato are the best sort of story and everything like that to win.
I mean, in terms of kayfabe, that is like the strongest team, right? Because that's kind of like the All Japan super team, basically, the All Japan Junior super team. So they would make a lot of sense, but it's also like you could kind of like subvert expectations here, especially with like Suzuki turned on Hayato. And Ishida is a champion as well, where like maybe Great was like, we want our guy in the finals. So that would make a lot of sense to me as well.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But I'm pretty confident about Sato and Tamara making the finals.
Yeah, I think that's really likely, because I don't think there's much of a point in putting Doi and Tanizaki in the final. Unless you just really want to do the whole, like, Aoyagi beats Doi in the finals, and then that way he gets another title shot.
Yep,
but definitely. It also feels like there's more, like, time left in the Doi reign as well.
I think that's reasonable.
Because, like, if Atsuki challenges him again, like, he has to win, right? He has to beat him the next time.
Yes. That's true, too. So yeah, I don't know.
To me, that this seems like the most likely one where... Yeah. Oh, no, wait, there was actually one in 2021 as well, which was won by Omori and Kodama.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of, maybe.
Yeah.
There wasn't one last year, was there?
No, there wasn't one in 2021, but Dan and Sato did win it in 2020.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay,
yeah, they did that one they did that at like the last two times they did it at the end of the year. They did it in December.
Right, and then right, because Kodama and Omori won the All Asia Tag titles.
Yeah, at the New Year. Yeah,
T-Hawk and Lindemann. Yeah. So, okay. So that's the Junior Battle of Glory, or Tag Battle of Glory.
It's a very different. Do you just quickly want to compare that to the field they had in 2021?
Yeah, what was the field in 2021?
So the field in 2021, so it was won by the Total Eclipse team of Hokuto Omori and Yusuke Kodama. And the other participants were Atsuki Aoyagi and Yu Iizuka, Black Mansory and Hiroshi Yamato.
Yeah.
Sato and Dan as well.
Mm-hmm.
Izanagi and Masashi Takeda.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Masato Kamino and Takato Nakano.
Okay, from Basara.
Yeah. Raicho and Sugi, who has gone into witness protection apparently.
Yeah.
And then the final team was Seigo Tachibana and Takayuki Ueki. Were they still the Yoshitatsu Kingdom at that time, or was that after they had
I believe so, yes,
Yoshitatsu?
They were. Yeah, they were Yoshitatsu Kingdom.
Yeah, that's a very different junior division. Like, that's a very different field compared to the one they have this year. Like, it's a bit of an upgrade in quality there.
Yes and no. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I mean, there's some good stuff like that. Like, Atsuki and Yu Iizuka, that's a great team.
Yeah.
You know? But yes, this is all very streamlined, very efficient. I think the efficiency is higher at this field.
Yeah, this is all steak, no sizzle.
Yeah, exactly. So then we go on to the Champion Carnival. Block A, Yuma Aoyagi, Cyrus, Ryuki Honda, Kento Miyahara, Jun Saito, T-Hawk, Yoshitatsu, and the greatest X of all time, Satoshi Kojima. Block B, Yuma Anzai, Shotaro Ashino, Shuji Ishikawa, Hokuto Omori, Takao Omori, Rei Saito, Suwama, and Manabu Soya. And so, yes, since we recorded last, it is going to be, or it was confirmed that it's going to be Takao Omori as the replacement for Naoya Nomura in the B block. My thoughts are, look, it's a last-minute replacement, and you can have him beat anyone, and you can sort of also have him beat, or anyone could beat him, which is probably the key thing here, and you could also have him beat anyone. Paul, what are your thoughts?
No. I think I'm fine with Omori, because bringing in, like, there wasn't really anyone else that you could have put, like, you could have moved up a junior if you weren't also doing the, like, Junior Tag Battle of Glory at the same time. So, but obviously because everyone was busy with that, you couldn't do that. And then there isn't really anyone else on the roster that isn't already in the tournament.
Yeah.
You could have put in here. So it had to be Omori. And another outsider like this on this short notice was unrealistic, because it would have had to be someone that is available for the entire tour. Like, that has no overlapping bookings with their own promotion. And then that promotion also has to be willing to have their guy potentially like lose a bunch of matches as well. Yeah. So it was just the most realistic option for it to be Omori.
Yes,
but
definitely.
The one thing though I will say is that what will obviously cause them a headache here is that I think it was the most likely outcome that Nomura was going to win this block. And now it's the question, who wins this block? Because I don't really see an obvious candidate.
I have some thoughts we'll get to in a moment. And so the first show is on April 8th at Korakuen Hall. We'll just, everyone's having a match. So it's Cyrus versus Jun Saito, Yoshitatsu versus T-Hawk, Satoshi Kojima versus Ryuki Honda, which I think could be great. Kento Miyahara versus Yuma Aoyagi, obviously, great. Takao Omori versus Rei Saito, Shotaro Ashino versus Manabu Soya, Wrestle One Never Die. Suwama versus Yuma Anzai, which I think could be a lot of fun, and Shuji Ishikawa versus Hokuto Omori, which we just saw. But I wonder do you think, given that match we just saw, Omori scores the upset over the big dog?
I think there's a pretty decent chance that like Hokuto gets his win back here. Just like Suwama will get his win back as well. I think that will be kind of the theme of the first night here.
Okay.
Honda versus Kojima is one where I'm wondering about a potential upset as well, because like the feeling I've gotten from like the Shinkiba show and just in general, like it seems that they're pivoting GOA, that they're pivoting to Honda being the leader of GOA.
Interesting. Okay.
Because they came out to his music, he was the last guy announced, like he was the guy that got into it with Nagata and the post-match and everything.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Okay. So that's also very possible, but Kojima's got to win on his first night in, I think.
True. I mean it is the Satoshi Kojima, so in theory, like it's not a guy that you need to establish, but yeah.
We're not going to go through every match, but just to note, April 25th, Korakuen Hall is when you get Kento versus Kojima.
Yeah, watch that. If you're signing up for it and you don't want to watch anything else, go and watch that one.
Exactly. So we'll fast forward to the final two nights because I think there's a lot to pick through here. April 30th in Osaka, the final night of B block action. Shuji Ishikawa versus Shotaro Ashino, Suwama versus Rei Saito, and Takao Omori versus Manabu Soya, and Hokuto Omori versus Yuma Anzai. Paul, what does that say to you about who's going through?
So, I mean, obviously the original plan here was for Nomura to get his win back over Soya from the tag title match and go to the finals.
Yeah.
That's obviously, like, they're not sending Takao Omori to the finals. That's not happening. I still think he's beating Soya here to eliminate him.
Well, yeah, because Soya beat him in January. Remember that match? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I definitely think that Soya is winning. That Soya is losing here, so that he gets eliminated, because All Japan will he's a champion, and B, Noah probably wants to keep him strong as well. So, so he will probably be eliminated here. And then the other ones kind of have, like I said, I'm kind of struggling to come up with, because I'm almost saying that just do the completely crazy thing and you send Ansai to the final.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, you know what my thoughts on this are, Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Ashino is beating Ishikawa and going to the finals, and Rei is upsetting Suwama, and that's going to cause more stuff with Voodoo Murders.
I do think that is also pretty likely, yeah, that Saito is beating Suwama here to like, because we haven't really gotten anything on like the Voodoo Murderers breakup, like that just completely went away again after everyone turned on each other 50 times. So, but yeah, that would be like a really nice spark to redo that again.
Yeah, I mean,
Ashino
I know that
finals. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who else you got from that block? Ishikawa just was in the Triple Crown match. Suwama?
Yeah, like Ishikawa definitely is a no. Ishikawa is he's definitely not making the finals.
I think Suwama is possible.
Yeah. I mean, he can still do like Dissension and like Voodoo Murderers from like, I don't know, Suwama like demands Saito lays down for him or something like that, and he doesn't. And then Suwama just beats him anyway and he goes to the finals. Like, I don't really want to see that because I'm kind of done with main event Suwama, but they're also kind of in a bit of a rough spot based on how they laid out those blocks.
Yes.
So, that's why I'm also almost saying, like, Ansai is over, and, like, it is completely crazy to send, like, a guy 6 months into his career into a Champion Carnival final. You might also run the risk of, like, exposing him too much, like, putting too much on him this early. But I don't know, it still seems like a better option than like almost anything else in the block. Ashino, I guess you're at least guaranteed to get a good match out of it. But you're kinda, the problem with that is like he's absolutely not winning.
Well,
so it doesn't make for a super interesting final. Whereas with Suwama at the like I guess it's the same with Ansai, but with Suwama at least, like if you send Suwama to the final, like it's always believable that he could win, even though it's unlikely that he would. Like it's very like I'm very certain that the A block will send the winner, but at least if you send Suwama, you have some reasonable doubt there. Whereas with almost anyone else, there isn't really a doubt that the A block winner is going to win the whole tournament.
So then we go ahead to May 4th, Cork and Hall Show, which is the final night of A block action. Kento Miyahara versus T-Hawk. Satoshi Kojima versus Cyrus. I have that one marked down. I think that will be a ton of fun. Yuma Aoyagi versus Yoshitatsu, and Ryuki Honda versus Jun Saito. Paul, what do you see happening here? Because I have an idea.
Okay. I could definitely see, like, I feel like Kojima's gonna get upset here. Like, I think Cyrus is beating him. Because, like I said, like the A block winner is most likely winning the whole thing, and I don't like. It doesn't make sense for All Japan to run Kojima versus Nagata as a triple crown match. That's just weird. No. So I think we can mark that one off as pretty certain. And then Honda versus Saito is one I'm kind of curious about. Because, like I said, I have a feeling that they're pushing Honda more now. So I feel like in that case, Saito would win to eliminate him. And then obviously, like, it depends. So to me, it kind of comes down to like Yuma Aoyagi or Kento Miyahara.
Well, I have some thoughts about this. Paul, what do you think? T-Hawk beats Kento and then Yuma beats Yoshitatsu to go to the finals again?
Yeah, I think that seems pretty likely as well, because that way you give like a nice big win to T-Hawk over Kento as well. Like you avenge like the Triple Crown loss from last year.
Yes. And I think Great wants something in terms of having your rookie pin Shima.
Yeah. Yeah, and they need their pound of flesh.
Yeah.
So I think that one feels likely. And did you see that T-Hawk wasn't actually at the press conference, but Clark Kent was?
Yes, I did see that picture of Clark T-Hawk Kent.
Especially with him standing next to Honda and Saito, and he just looks like a nerd.
Well, I mean, I think T-Hawk beating Kento can keep that feud going because they really do have great chemistry together.
No. I think that will be really cool. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a long-term thing as well because, and I mean, the thing as well is like Kento is busy with other stuff. Like, I guess a lot of people think like, oh, it's going to be Kento versus Nagata and everything. But like Kento also has like other things. Like Kento still has kind of the simmering feud with Kitamiya and like the whole Noah stuff that he's got going in general. So like Kento has other things to do, whereas Yuma, I mean, now even more so that Nomura is injured, like his feud with Kongo's kind of done, unless he just gets a new partner and then goes after the tag titles again. Yeah. But I think it also makes a ton of sense for him to just kind of pivot and just go for, and again, that also makes sense. Like if Nomura was the guy that was originally winning B Block, you would have had Nomo Yagi in the final.
Yeah, which is like I feel like a big final that they were gonna do.
Yeah.
Well, but you can't count Kento out because this is all Japan, right?
It's Kento Miyahara. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this could also just all lead to Kento Miyahara pins Yuji Nagata, wins this tournament, pins Yuji Nagata, and he's the Triple Crown champ again.
Absolutely. But I assume whoever wins this tournament's beating Nagata.
Yeah. Because there's no real point, and like you gave Nagata a defense already, and there's not really much. Like he has exceeded our expectations, but I also feel like he doesn't really want to do like 30-minute Triple Crown main events for much longer.
Well, no, he's not in the Carnival, and I think that's because like that would just be too physically exhausting.
Like I feel like that's why Kojima was drafted into this, because Kojima was probably like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do a Carnival. Whereas they probably asked Nagata first, and Nagata was like, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. Whereas Kojima's like, Cyrus? Yeah, sure, I'll wrestle Cyrus.
I'll put over Cyrus.
Yeah, I'll put over Cyrus.
Because I think that's happening. Do you think Kento beats Kojima?
I almost feel like that has to be a draw, right?
Well, if Kojima's only coming in for this Carnival, I think you got to put Kento over him.
Yeah.
But you could still keep him alive to the final line. Here, I think this is perfectly reasonable. If Yuma is winning this tournament, Kento beats Kojima.
Kojima beats Yuma. Yeah,
and then Cyrus
that's the good stuff.
Cyrus beats Kojima to keep him out of the finals.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
You know,
I'm just looking up. They probably had to have had matches, right? Okay, no, they've had one match exactly, actually. No, wait, that isn't even... No, why did that bring up Kojima? Because I was just looking up if Kojima and Kento have ever faced off in any kind of way, and they haven't.
Yeah, they haven't.
Because if I go to Kento's page and I type in Kojima, it brings up a... Oh, because it was in the Osaka City Miyakojima Citizen Center. Mm-hmm. Okay. But the match is Jun Akiyama, the bodyguard, and Zeus defeat Kento Miyahara, Naoya Nomura, and Yoshitatsu in 20 minutes.
Oh, and I also forgot on April 15th, it is Atsushi Onita and Yoshitatsu versus Takao Omori and Black Menso Ray for the All Asia Tag Team titles in a Current Explosion Death Bunkhouse match.
Sure, just throw that into the middle while you're like working the Carnival, Takao. Why not?
I hope they win those titles just to get them.
Yes, but I also want Takao Omori to take some time off after this if he's doing all of that in 1 month.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they have to win because there's just nothing there with Onita at this point.
No. But then that means Yoshitatsu taking a fall in the middle of a tournament.
Whatever.
Which they don't like. Whatever. Also,
like
I feel like
he's probably going to finish bottom of that block.
I would think so at this point. He'll get one upset. But here's my other issue especially with the way that they've been booking Yoshitatsu. If Kento goes through the final, that means Yuma is getting upset by Yoshitatsu on the final night, and that just is way too geeky for Yuma Aoyagi at this point. Especially given how Yoshitatsu has been put at the bottom of the card now.
Yeah. And you're probably main eventing that show with Miyahara versus T-Hawk. Like that way,
Yes.
I mean, the downside is obviously then Yuma goes through to the final, like, looking through the curtain, but still. Like,
That's fine.
That's fine, yeah. They've done that before.
And
But
what do you think the result of Kento versus Yuma on night 1 is?
I think Kento's beating him.
Yeah, because I think you gotta sort of keep...
you save that win. You save that win for Triple Crown. Like, basically, do you make that Yuma's V1 defense? Or do you save that for, like, a bigger like, because when he holds the title, like, he has to beat him, right? In a defense.
Well, a V1 Kojima defense, and then Kento, because Kento wins Royal Road, and then they're having the match at Yoyogi number 2 in September of the show.
Oh, yeah. No. You draw that one out until December, until I'm there.
Well, you could do that too. But then what does Kento do?
I mean, they're going to do
second?
something big for, like, New Year's as well. So
Yeah. I could also see that being an interpromotional show hosted by All Japan too, though.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm actually curious about, though, for B block, where do you think Yuma Anzai finishes? Because we can't, like I said before, we can't apply normal young boy logic here.
I think Anzai could get 4 to 6 points max. He can beat Hokuto, Takao, and Rei.
Yeah.
And he doesn't lose anything losing to those other guys if he shows his fighting spirit. And plus, whenever you see a rookie getting in a tournament early on, so many have gone 0 in the past. Mm-hmm. So anything, even 2 points is a respectable showing for him. But I think it will be at least 4.
Yeah.
I think he gets 4 points.
Yeah. Like I actually feel like he might actually even have a chance to upset Shuji Ishikawa as well.
Yeah. Now
and then he might lose to Hokuto.
I could see Anzai getting 4 points beating Takao and Rei, and then losing to Hokuto on the last night. Yeah, that makes sense. So 4 to 6 is my prediction for Anzai.
Yeah.
My projected finals. Of course, I can never go 100% because of Kento Miyahara. Is Ashino versus Yuma. What are the chances?
Yeah, I think I'm actually going with Yuma versus Sawama.
Okay. What are the chances of Ashino winning this tournament? Because him
0.
and Nagata seem to have a little...
Just straight up.
Really? I feel like they've been planting stuff...
They just did the Samoa Joe storyline where he got abducted by ninjas. And nothing came of it. He just came back and he was just... Voodoo murderers put him in a body bag and dragged him out of the arena. And he just comes back and he's just the same guy.
You're probably right. I'm just trying to convince myself.
That's not a guy you have winning the Champion Carnival a month later.
No, it's not. I'm just trying to convince myself that Ashino is still in it. But look, I mean, Yuma versus Ashino could give you the best final.
No, it definitely would be. No. I fully agree that's, from an in-ring perspective, would be like the ideal outcome of the B block. I just don't see that happening. I think, like, it was always hard for Ashino to get pushed in this promotion just based on his height. And I think now we're definitely past that
because
point.
Anzai,
so many young guys. Anzai,
you think Anzai was the nail?
Honda, like in his own faction.
Yeah, well, I think you could argue Anzai might have been the nail in the coffin for Ashino because here's your 6'2" super rookie.
Yeah, like they're definitely actually Anzai might be the Ashino now that I think about it. Just really put that point across.
Maybe you do just send Anzai.
But yeah, I feel like
Yuma could walk Anzai through.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying. Like the risk that I'm seeing there is like that you risk like overexposing him, but then again, like it's not like he's working from underneath all of these matches. No. He's actually as a rookie. He's like working on top. Like he's like getting heat on people. So I think putting Anzai in the final isn't unreasonable. I feel like they're gonna do Sawama just because that's like the safe hand, and it's like it still means something for Yuma to beat Suwama in the final.
Yuma's beaten Suwama in the Champion Carnival blocks before, I think possibly twice.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not as big as it could have been. But anyway.
No.
But this is
like I said, my kind of weird scenario is Anzai, but if I'm just being if I'm being realistic, it's Suwama. But I kind of wanted to be Anzai just to see, like, it's incredibly risky because what I've kind of realized as well, like thinking more about like all of the Kaito situation, is that like in a weird way they pushed him too much too fast.
Yeah.
Which feels weird to say now in hindsight, but because that actually, like, if you basically just cut off everything that happens before he loses the title, or basically before the day after he loses the title, his first title reign, to go, and just look at the push there, that's not actually a bad push, really. But because he already held the title for a year and he already won the N1, that didn't really work. Yes. And that's the risk you run with Anzai as well if you give him too much too early. Yeah, because then you can't do these kinds of stories anymore.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. You could have milked more of the rise of Kaito than it was.
Yeah, because he is 27. Like if at 27, you lose to Keiji Muto.
Well, look, Yuma's about the same.
If you've never won the title before, that's not bad.
Yuma's about the same age as Kaito.
Yeah,
Aoyagi, I should clarify.
Yeah. You can't even just say Aoyagi because there's another Aoyagi in the promotion. Yes. Like, that's actually something I realized recently, is that All Japan loves people with the same name. Yeah. There's 2 Omoris, there's 2 Nomuras, there's 2 Yumas, there's 2 Aoyagis. Like, this is so many people with the same name.
What about a team faction with Anzai and the Aoyagi brothers called 2 Yuma, 2 Aoyagis?
Oh, sure. Why not? Or we just pretend that everyone with the same name is brothers, like you have the Omori brothers.
Do you remember
the Aoyagi brothers who are actually brothers? Do you remember the Nomura brothers?
Do you remember the time when Dave wrote in the Observer that Takuya Nomura and Naoya Nomura were brothers?
Yes. I think that was around the time when they had that match in Big Japan as like rookies against each other. And Dave was like, oh yeah, they're 2 brothers in different promotions. Like, no, Dave, they're not. They're not related at all.
Anyway, Paul, any thoughts on the Champion Carnival? Do you think, well, first of all, if you're not subscribing to All Japan TV, you should change that for this. Because if nothing else, you're going to get the whole tournament that I'm going to be paying, 1,800 yen for only 900 yen, because you're only paying for May.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you probably get like the title win as well, like the Yuji Nagata title defense as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this will touch the quality of 2018 or 2019 overall, but I think it'll be the best carnival since 2019 just because the crowds can cheer.
Yeah, I think very easily, and like you're probably gonna have like some bigger crowds as well because there's no attendance restrictions or anything like that either.
Yeah,
maybe actually we don't know. Yeah, I say that, but then it appears like whatever you booked in January still applies. So
no, I'm pretty sure though that these things went on sale after the restrictions were lifted. Plus, All Japan never did restrictions because they just would take the tickets over the cheering because they're All Japan.
And they did for the Great Show.
They did that, but that's also great. I don't know, but that was the only time that they did it because they were packing in.
Yeah,
they basically said we're going to take that money instead of having the crowd cheer, which I can understand when you're All Japan doing that.
Yes, exactly. It's like you need that money.
Yeah. So,
which is why that was always weird that no one ever did it, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly, right.
We've really to get at that point.
Look, they can't even sell those tickets. They can't even sell those 700 tickets in Korakuen.
Yeah.
So you might as well just...
Exactly, that's why you should have... Whatever, it's done now, restrictions are gone, so it's pointless, but yeah.
Exactly, so, I mean, I think it'll be pretty good. I mean, in terms of crappiness, there's nothing really... I don't know, Yoshi... It just depends how the Saitos perform. Because if they get lost in a match...
Yeah.
Cyrus
I mean,
versus a
maybe this is something Saito like where like Yoshitatsu pulls out this weird like chemistry he has with Suwama, maybe with a Saito.
I'm actually strangely confident of like a 3-star match between Cyrus and Jun Saito because they're just gonna slap each other really hard for like 8 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, there's going to be like a lot of like clubbing blows and a lot of like people running into each other in corners and everything. Just a lot of meat slapping.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I don't think there's going to be anything too horrible on this in this tournament.
No. Tatsu versus Cyrus, I think, is probably the one I'm looking at. Man, no,
but that has car wreck. I want to see quality, right?
Yeah, they might also keep that one short. That might just be.
Yeah. So minutes. The question is, are they going to stick the Saitos in a singles match that goes more than 10 minutes?
Do they have the stamina to do that?
Well, they just had a 6-man that went 22.
Yeah, but that's a 6-man. Like it's a lot of time for you to rest in there.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
whereas if you're like in like Jun Saito versus Kento Miyahara, I'm really curious about because Kento has his style and he has certain expectations about like pace of a match that I don't know if Jun Saito can keep up with that.
Well, it could be Kento just getting beat up for 10 minutes, and the last 2 minutes he hits like 30 knees in the shutdown German.
Yeah. But that's also definitely one where like Kento's absolutely winning right now.
Oh,
0% chance that Jun is winning that one.
Okay, so where does Kento lose? He loses against T-Hawk? Because Kento's going to have to lose a couple of matches.
See, but that's maybe where he loses against Kojima then.
Oh, that's right.
Because that's a believable loss.
Yeah.
Because he beats Yuma. He can lose against Cyrus, actually. I think he's someone he can lose to.
I mean, if Cyrus is a long-term guy, and I think he is, you can have him lose to Cyrus. Okay, so Kento loses to Cyrus and
T-Hawk.
That's 4.
But then again, he doesn't actually need more than like let's say Yuma loses to Kento, and then okay, no, in theory you would need 3 Kento losses because I think Yuma is losing to Kento and Kojima.
Yeah.
So you would have Kento lose to T-Hawk, Cyrus,
Yoshitatsu.
and then you need one more person.
I'm not joking about that.
Yoshitatsu, yeah.
Because Yoshitatsu's upset him before. Yeah. And because my only issue with giving someone like Honda a win over Miyahara is you want to save that.
Yes, exactly. Like you want to save that one. Like that's too early for now. Like I don't think we're that far away from Honda actually getting a real proper push.
Yeah.
But that's still something you can make some money with. So you save that one.
What about Jun beating Kento through interference? Because Jun's never going to be a top singles guy, so you can just give him that win now.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But then I actually like just Yoshitatsu upsetting him more.
Yeah. Because Yoshitatsu's only going to get like 4 points.
Because that way you also still keep like Kojima losing to Kento as well.
Oh yeah.
Because otherwise, like I could very reasonably say as well, he loses to Cyrus, T-Hawk, and Kojima.
Yeah. The thing with Yoshitatsu is who else does he beat? And they're going to give him.
Yeah. So that might be that he only beats Kento.
They'll give him some pity points, so he'll get like 2 to 4 points. I mean, I could see.
Could probably beat Jun.
Yeah, I could see Yoshitatsu rolling up Cyrus, to be completely honest with you. Because Cyrus is going to have to take some losses.
Yeah. Yeah, Cyrus just like beats him up for 5 minutes and then Yoshitatsu just rolls him up out of nowhere.
Yoshitatsu beating Kento and Cyrus in the tournament is a perfectly respectable showing for where he is on the card now, I think.
Yeah, no, that's 4 points and yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the Champion Carnival, and it starts on Saturday the 8th. So, Paul, any final thoughts about anything at all?
I'm really looking forward to this carnival.
I am too.
As I said, I think this will be the best one since the pandemic. So, and I think, especially for A block, I think there's a lot of like interesting like potential scenarios in there, and yeah, like I said, B block, Yuma Enzai, first Champion Carnival, hopefully of many. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely. So we will give you all of the coverage of the Champion Carnival, of course, and we'll be back in about 2 weeks, because we'll have the big show in Sendai for Noah, and then we'll have like a good chunk of the Champion Carnival done, and we'll be able to probably see some pathways to who's going to the finals by that. So for Paul Vosh, I'm Gerard Petrolio, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hello, Voices of Wrestling listener. Dave Ryan here. Have you ever wondered to yourself how many hidden gems are hidden away inside the last years of World Championship Wrestling? Have you ever asked yourself how many tenuous gags can be made about the name Mike Enos? And have you ever thought about what it sounds like for two Irishmen to interpret a very chaotic company through its B show? The answers to all this and more are just a click away. Check out Days of Thunder every second Thursday on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Hola, hola, my name is Ricardo. I am the host of the Lucha Jovers podcast here in the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. We are a Spanish-speaking show dedicated to discussing and analyzing pro wrestling from all across the world. From AEW to CMLL, we talk about American wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and of course, Lucha Libre. If something big happened in the pro wrestling world, we will talk about it. So if you know Spanish or have a friend that knows Spanish or want to practice your Lucha Libre pronunciations, go listen to the Lucha Jovers podcast right here in the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. Nos vemos por ahí.